Cheers! Welcome to my channel. This is a daily tarot oracle reading, Tattle Tales from the Vector. This is general or collective, so parts of it may or may not resonate with you. Take what works for you and leave the rest. This is also a timely reading. If you're watching it at this time, it is the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it has been a while since I posted this, what was going on in your life back then? That might give you further clarity as to your situation now. All right, just making sure that we're going to be able to see it all the way to the end. And we have the Two of Pentacles. Pentacles are representing health, wealth, and happiness in the 3D. And of course, a big part of that is coin. So the pentacle energy is the element of earth, and it's represented by the coin. But you could have all the money in the world and still not be living the lifestyle you want. So this is more about lifestyle than just about the money that you make or how you make it. And it's talking also about someone who's multitasking, which is a great skill to have. It's about juggling a lot of different things at once. And there's it starts off small and then it gains momentum. So the warning with this card is that if you are going to multitask, make sure that you still have quality work. It's not all about quantity, or you end up doing things twice. It also can talk about juggling two different areas of life, like maybe your home life and your business life, your public image and your personal goals. That this is talking about being in a loop with that. The more even these two loops are, the easier it is to manifest at a high level. And it's also saying juggle your options, but never ever juggle your morals. And then we have the energy from the oracle. My oracle is Tales from the Vector. And this is courtesy of the Intergalactic Federation of Light. This is Earth Star. She's one of the seven stellar sisters from the Pleiades. And this is talking about, she's the Earth Star. So she's a powerful manifester. And in the background, we have the energy of, as she's coming through the sky here, we have the energy of the Super 7 crystal, which is a powerful manifester as well. And it also aligns all 7 chakras. So this is talking about Svadhisthana, and this is the sacral chakra. And that's actually where we manifest. The most important thing we manifest from our sacral chakra is a beautiful baby, if we're fortunate enough to do so. And but we can also think of our business or our projects, whatever, as babies, and there's something that we produce, and that is all that energy. Our creative energy is centered in the sacral chakra. We do have the World card. And so the World is talking about an end of a cycle at the beginning of the reading. So this is saying that you've completed one cycle and now you're moving into a new one. And this is the whole new world that you're moving into. Card 21 is the World card representing successfully having completed a cycle. And the Fool starts at the 0 point. And then at this card, whenever this card shows up, it's saying, okay, you've learned everything you can from the old cycle. You're going to start a new one. It'll be like a whole new world for you again. And so this is about at the very beginning of this reading, it's the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new one. This could be because you are becoming very good at using your intuition as well as your logic in combination. That's can really allow you to get to a point where you become a very powerful manifester. And this is the High Priestess. She sits between these two pillars, and they are two extreme energies, like totally opposite. There's a lot of information pouring in around her, and she has to sort through all that information. Information does equal energy, so the more information we have access to, the faster things go, basically, the more energy that's there. And a lot of people are feeling this these days. We have, we have access to information at the, click of a mouse, or we can get information from so many different sources now very quickly. And a lot of it can be contradictory. And now with the AI, it's even more so. Like you have to really double and triple check that the information that you are receiving is real, including the images that you see. And so the high priestess, she's known to be very joyful. She sits on her throne by the feet of God, basically. And she is, she's known for being a very powerful manifester. She uses the cycles of the moon. She understands that very well, how to use the full moon and new moon in particular to manifest at a high level. And this is talking about being able to understand the difference between your brain and your mind. Like, a lot of people get the two confused. And your mind is basically how you think, like how your consciousness, like it's your will. And your brain is your central nervous system. So that's the components of the brain and of the spine. And that's your central nervous system. And your central nervous system is where all the sensations in your body come from. And so if you ask a logical question and then say she gets 5 answers, but now she's like, okay, but which one of those answers is the one that's best for me? They all would work, but I want to do the one that is going to be the best one for me in my situation and the most efficient. And so she can then just stop thinking and feel. And what is her body saying when she reads, or says out loud the 5 different answers that she gets? She might, get a feeling of an elevator dropping, whoomp, that feeling you get in your gut. A lot of people talk about that, trust your gut. That energy is indicating that that one is weak energetically for you. Might be perfect for someone else, but not for you. And that a lot of people talk about that feeling of like boom, that lowering, that dropping feeling as being weak. And then when it's a strong energy, you just feel like straightening up and getting really strong in your spine and sitting or standing up straight. It just gives you that that's the one. And so the one that sticks out, and makes you feel like really strong. Then if you apply that particular answer logically now, you're probably going to get a really good result for you. And it might be different for someone else, but for you, this would be the best answer. And she's sitting in between 2 major extremes. This one represents Jesus, and this pillar represents the devil. And so she has her work cut out for her. And then we have the 10 of cups, and cups in tarot do represent love. And quite often it can be romantic love, but it can be all sorts of love shown by this card here. So this is talking about, loving your partner and them loving you and loving your children and them loving you and loving where you live and your neighbors, and maybe you really love your career, what you do, and the clients and your peers, and it's the country you live in. So this is talking about this rainbow is representing everything you wish for in love, that you in life. This is a very fulfilling, lovely life and in a perfectly imperfect world. Now, this is a promise of, after being in a storm or being like through something, that you now have, this is a promise of the beautiful life that you can have coming towards you. And we have, this is after clearly, this is talking about having had disappointment in love in the past. So, in a situation, this person's sitting under the tree and they're clearly disappointed. If this is romantic love, it could be an energy of, there being 2 cups and then a third one. This could represent a couple and a third party energy. And so being a very disappointing situation for this person. And sometimes this 4th cup can even be that extra cup of love that I was talking about before, that from the sacral chakra we can produce a baby. But if it's not the couple and it's with the third party energy, that could be very disappointing. And this could also talk about giving someone 3 chances and they're asking for a 4th chance. And you're like, no way, you 3 strikes, you're out. I'm done. I'm not doing this again. And that could be a matter of love. It could be a matter of anyone you love. Like, it doesn't have to be romantic. It could be a family member, a friend, a coworker, whatever, whoever or whatever has disappointed you, and you've given 3 chances and now you're not willing to give a 4th, which is fair because most people will show you exactly who they are the first time around. And then it could also be talking about you doing your best to launch something 3 different times, and the universe is saying, give it one more go. And you're like, oh, I don't want to give it another go. Like, it's so disappointing. I've put all my time and money and energy into it, and it failed to produce what I thought it was going to. It's something you love to do, but man, like, you got to make, you have to be able to make a profit at it. And then it's also maybe talking about giving 3 different people a chance in love, or 3 different people a chance in partnerships in business, or in, friends, whatever this is, and being disappointed. Now, you could sit under that tree for the rest of your life, but it's kind of silly because, you might need to sit there and lick your wounds for a little, but you eventually you've got to get up and enjoy love again. You don't want to be without love. But if you need time to heal, make sure you take that time to heal. And then we have the hangman energy. The hangman is talking about, he hangs from the tree of knowledge and he's upside down because he wants to get a better view of this from all angles so that he can make a decision after looking at a problem or an adventure from every perspective, which would be the best way to approach this. When his aura lights up, then it's time to come down from the tree and take action. So this can sometimes talk about getting stuck in energy, like hanging around with the wrong people, and being maybe people that were juggling their morals, and that's why you've been disappointed in the past in your relationships here. I'll keep going here. We have victory. So this is awesome. This is saying that you decided to get up from under the tree. You've hung there long enough now and you're thinking, okay, I could do better by putting my best foot forward here. This is a card of victory, of taking strong action and actually in a leadership role to move forward. And we have 5 wands here. And like you can see the people in the background, they're a little disgruntled, but they have to admit that you proved yourself to be a real leader, and you've learned to rein your emotions in and discipline your mind so that you make strong choices even when you're under a lot of pressure. Like this could represent maybe going for a job promotion and clearly coming out the leader. And they might be a little disgruntled in the background because they also applied and didn't get the position, but they had to admit, you really did a good job of whatever the project was in the interview, etc. And you came out the clear leader. And you can see how proud this person is. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles. So the Queen of Pentacles is known to be very resourceful. She can make something out of nothing and is really admired for her ability to do so. She prefers quality over quantity. And this is talking about generational wealth, like a legacy that's passed down from one generation to another. People from old money rarely are really flashy with their money. They don't need designer this or that or prove anything to impress anyone. They're more into using money as a tool that it's meant to be. The question that I've been asking for the Queen of Pentacles every time she shows up lately, I've been asking, why does she have to be so resourceful? I mean, it's good that she can be, but why does she have to be so resourceful? And because there's a lot of people in my community over the last 6 months that I've noticed have been saying that they have, and I've noticed this in a lot of readings in tarot in general, that people having missed out on their inheritances in some way, or trust funds or whatever. And there's ways that you can look into that. So I've been kind of looking into it a little bit myself here. And I asked the question for my collective here, why is the Queen having to be so resourceful? And can we find out more about it so that maybe it could empower someone to be able to move forward towards collecting what was left for them, or being able to move forward and have a real good lifestyle. And then we have the King of Wands. King of Wands energy is talking about someone that's very, this is someone that's very visionary, and he is considered like the sexiest of all the kings. He's very fiery and a visionary. He likes to look forward into the future, and the wooden wand represents the element of fire. The wood fuels the fire, and this is about taking passionate action. So, and it's also about the deep roots of the ancestor, because it comes from a tree, and it also is talking about the descendants. So this is, he does have his back to the Queen of Pentacles. Like, it's like they don't know each other. It's not like they're sitting together or anything. So I don't think this is a couple or anything like that. He is looking forward into the future, and his energy is like he's ready to get up in a moment's notice. He likes adventure, moving forward. As I said, he's considered to be very charismatic and sexy. And the thing is about this energy, you notice the little salamander here, and the salamanders with the tail, and the lion here. This is representing protection from fire. And I noticed a while back, there's a face here with two eyes and a mustache, and then the smoke coming out of the nose and the mouth. So this could mean, he's just smoking hot, because he is, or it could represent that, one thing you have to remember about the King of Wands, the fire signs in general, that's Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, have a tendency to settle down later in life than the other signs in the zodiac. And that's because, they have all this fire in them, and they very much value their independence and their freedom. And they love new adventures. They love to tackle new projects. It's a very fiery energy. And so sometimes this can say where there's smoke, there's fire. So just keep in mind that sometimes with the King of Wands, their energy can, their love of adventure and all things new can easily bleed into their romantic love life. So this is someone that likely doesn't settle down until they're a little bit older than a lot of the other signs. And we have the being left out in the cold energy here. So he's looking at this. The Queen is looking down at her pentacles. She's very focused on that. So this is talking about, he's looking into, like, straight at these two. So what's this about? This is, this energy is sitting on, I feel this is an energy because this is pretty optimistic. I think it's talking about this energy here of, the times that you've been disappointed and ended up like feeling like left out in the cold by the people around you, or not being able to make something work. And this is talking about, like, we have this person who's on crutches, and he's also wearing a plague bell. And the plague bell, in the old days, they didn't have apps to, ostracize people from society, and to, if they were suspected of being able to be carrying a plague or something, an epidemic, that they would be forced to wear this big bell around their neck. And then when they came in town, everybody could hear them coming. And then they could get the heck out of their way, and which made it, as you can imagine, a little bit difficult to get a job or to get groceries even. And this person here, it doesn't even have shoes. So the Five of Pentacles is between the two of them. It's not enough for them to sustain a home. And it's talking about, being homeless and being out in the cold. The snowflakes represent all the tactics that may have been used to put someone in this position. Quite often there's gaslighting in that, and people will come together. Anyone can handle a flake or two. But if, a bunch of flakes get together, then, the snow becomes very heavy, especially if it snows a lot, and then you have to be shoveling the snow all constantly, or every day you getting up in the morning, and you have to shovel your driveway to get out of the snow, so that you can get out of the driveway and get to work. And then while you're at work all day, it's snowing some more, and so when you come out, you have to shovel around your car and scrape the windows and get all the snow off the car so that you can drive home. And of course, the roads are slippery, and because it's been snowing a lot, and so traffic is slow, it takes you longer to get home. And when you get there, your driveway is full of snow, and so you have to get out and shovel that driveway again so you can get your car there and then plug it in. Yeah, in some parts in Canada, we have to plug our cars in because it gets so cold overnight that the car won't start unless you have an engine warmer plugged in. So, and then you wake up in the morning and do it all over again. And sometimes, like in the prairies, the winters can last 3, 4, 5 months sometimes. So it can wear a person down. So this is talking about that type of energy, just feeling really worn down, left out in the cold. And it could be that being kind of left out of the loop in whatever, you're doing in life. Sometimes, though, this kind of rejection is God's protection. It's keeping you away from people that you find out later that you were lucky you were kept away from. And then we have this energy talking about the 9 of Pentacles. 9 of Pentacles energy, I mean, this is one way, like if she had this pentacle added to these pentacles, well, then she'd be like doing really well. She'd be at 10 pentacles. This energy, I feel this always reminds me of Nikola Tesla when he talks about the beauty of the 3, 6, 9. We have the 3, 6, and then the 9. That it would be like the key to the universe, and I feel like that's like this falcon here. It's representing like a ratio. Like if you start to understand that give and take in life, this is actually pre-Empress energy. And so pre-Empress just means that in tarot there is, the Empress is part of the major arcana, and she embodies the qualities of all 4 queens. So she, and it's because she's had so much life experience, gone through so much, that she now is, the Empress is considered to be a very powerful manifester, and she's almost reached that ability because she has been through so much, and she's managed to stay on her destined path during, be the best version she can be. She doesn't cheat, or she does things the correct way, and yet she is, this is talking about her being very successful. And it's talking like, I feel like when Nikola Tesla talks about that, he's talking about this ratio of understanding how much time, money, energy, power, are you going to, of your own, are you going to invest in any given task, any, anything you're trying to build, and, or even in relationships, and what is your anticipated return? Is it a fair exchange of energy? So this is really learning the art of discernment and understanding that you have to look after yourself and be in a position where you can empower others. Because if you don't have enough for yourself, how are you going to empower others? So she keeps her hand on like 2/3 of what she has, so that she can pay make the payments on all her obligations financially, and have enough left over for her, in case there's an emergency. These other 3 are like, one she might give to charity, and the other one could be representing, something that's more of a risky investment that she can invest in. And if it doesn't turn out, it's not such a big deal. She can, it won't affect her ability to be able to look after herself. And then maybe another one is saving up for a special occasion, like a vacation or some sort of a new vehicle or whatever that is. And then we have the 2 of Swords. So the Swords energy is representing the element of air, and it's talking about our thoughts. The Swords represent mental intelligence, discipline of the mind. And this person is actually representing someone who has a closed mind. They can only see 2 ways to get out of an issue, and they've got a blindfold on. Like, it's like This is representing either they don't want to see the problem or they can't see the solution to it. And that's because they have a closed mind. They can only see this or that, my way or the highway. Quite often that's the energy here. And we have a new moon in the background that's saying, you know, if you use your intuition like the high priestess and use both edges of these swords, one is logic and the other one is your intuition, you're going to have a much better likelihood of coming up with several creative solutions that could, you know, that could move you forward. You can see this is really draining her energy by the way she's sitting here. Her feet are turned out, and this in body language is like leaking energy from the base chakra here. It's about your survival and like having fears around that and just feeling like, oh, don't know what I don't know what to do. And sometimes, as I said, just not wanting to even look at it, but being forced to. And she does have her arms crossed over her chest, representing that she's feeling very vulnerable and she's protecting her heart. Now, it could be because of this energy. She could be afraid to love again or to take a risk, you know, to move out of the energy she's in. And we do have the right arm is holding back the left arm. And this is representing logic holding back your intuition. She'd be much better off if she just allows herself to use both. The blindfold, there's a saying, because you have eyes, you cannot see. And that is talking about like when we don't want to see it. It could be right in front of us and we don't want to see it. But it also is talking about, you know, the human eye only can pick up a small, narrow band of the spectrum of full light. So it's kind of the full spectrum of light. So it's talking about being, you know, even when we think we're seeing everything, we really aren't. Like my cat, for instance, when I'm doing readings, she'll be running around here sometimes. She gets the zoomies and she's chasing after things. She can see them, but I can't. You know, it's that type of energy. Cats have better vision than people. And the thing is that this is also saying that, you know, you need to use your third eye, your intuition, and then you'll maybe come up with several creative solutions like the High Priestess. We do have the card of reconciliation. Now, this card has been coming in a lot lately, and it could be in part because Mercury is in retrograde, and it just tends to be Mercury in retrograde, you know, kind of gets a bad rap, like it's about communication going awry and technology going down and that. But I sometimes wonder if it's because so many people believe that you know, it causes it in a way. But in any case, you do notice that it is happening. And this energy can talk, though, about it's really a time to slow down a little bit. From Mercury in retrograde just means that the Earth, from the perspective of the Earth, it looks like Mercury is traveling backward, and it's the planet of communication and technology. And so this energy quite often will bring in situations from the past. It's a great time to kind of chill out a little bit and not start really new projects. You know, you could do a lot of planning, looking into the different information that you need, and moving forward with something once Mercury is out of retrograde actually in 3 days from today on the 23rd. But the energy tends to sit with us for a little while after. But, you know, especially this is a great time for Mercury to be in retrograde with the summer months. Because if you try and push through with business during the summer months and half the people are away on vacation, it can really, you know, a lot of people are not at work. So it can really slow you down, and then you have to push through and force through things. So it can be talking about this is a great time to look back on the past. And it's not uncommon for people in relationships that you've had in the past. It's sitting right on here to come back into your life, especially if you don't have closure or they don't have closure. It can talk about wanting to revisit or wanting reconciliation. Sometimes, like this could represent just having a reunion and going home, you know, like there's a lot of high school reunions, that type of thing going on, family get-togethers during the summer months. And so this is talking about the Six of Cups. We have, you know, when there's a lot of illusions in this card. When you first look at it, you think, okay, there's two children playing with these potted plants. And but then when you look again, you realize, wait a minute, that's a gnome and that's a little woman. And this little woman, she is an old hag from the back, if you look at her from the back. But if you look at her from the front, she's young. And they're both wearing this white mitt, saying they don't want to get their hands dirty. They don't want the old hag is, we don't want your stupid flowers. They're not even yours to give away. And the younger woman, she's people-pleasing. She's being nice. And she is explaining, we're in our finery and we don't want to get our hands dirty. You know, instead of just saying, no, we don't want your flowers. And so this is saying, if someone from your past comes in and they've left you very disappointed, are you going to entertain bringing them back into your life, or are you going to move forward and look for something new, you know, to enjoy? And this is talking about also, you know, the white flowers in tarot represent innocence, but these flowers are not innocent because they are from the nightshade family. And if children ever ingested these, or pets, it would make them physically sick. So you would never let children play with these flowers, and you wouldn't plant them around a yard with children or pets. And sometimes the shamans will use datra, and that's its common name for, to produce visions when they're doing ceremonies to help heal the inner child energy. And so this is talking about going back into the past and healing situations from your childhood. And like even the person that was watching over the children in the yard is actually a stranger walking down the path. So this is saying there could be a lot of illusions regarding your past, and there could also be a lot of illusions around your childhood. It may not be quite as you remember it. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune. So the Wheel of Fortune is talking about your things are moving forward for you in a fortunate energy. Your luck is really turning to good fortune, and it's starting to move on the spiritual realm, and you'll be noticing this change in your life. And like with this energy, for sure, from this energy, it's a huge jump. And this is talking about you know, three wheels coming together, the past, the present, and the future, all coming together into the now. This is God's plan for you. This is you being meant to be successful with using your special qualities. And I feel like that's maybe the Queen of Pentacles has maybe wasn't using, for whatever reason, she wasn't able to work. She was in this energy. So she may have been blackballed or whatever in whatever occupation she was in. Could be that energy. You know, something went on here to cause this energy. Could have just been she wasn't ready to go out. It could be a lot of things. Could be some past energy of holding her back, and now she's been working on that clearly to get into this energy. And this card could represent that, going back and taking a look at the childhood and seeing what was really going on there. Maybe even hiring a private investigator, you know, a private detective to be able to look into something for you. And this is talking about the Wheel of Fortune turning in her favor now. And this is God's plan. This is talking about on one of these wheels, there's three of them, are the Hebrew letters for the name of God, which is Tetragrammaton. This is a sacred geometric symbol that is representing the equalization of all forces and coming together in perfect harmony and, you know, in divine order. This is the way God manifests. And this is the way that we can also manifest, by pulling that energy together. There's contraction in the universe, and then everything comes together, and then it expands again, and things get a little messy, and then it comes back together. It's kind of a cycle that we go through. And God's judgment is on a situation. I feel that this is saying that this is where the Queen is. This is where, you know, the people want her to be. It's like it's not her energy, it's other people's energy not wanting her to have this. They want her to have this instead. And this is the judgment that I feel this is the why she's on a new cycle now. This energy is being looked into, and God has made judgment on it. And this is talking about, you know, the ancestors are literally climbing out of their boxes. They're so thrilled, you know. Yay, the trumpet is blowing, the angel's blowing the trumpet, and justice is finally here. Now, this could be something that they left for you, and you never received it for whatever reason. And this is talking about the descendants now waving to the ancestors, and everybody's excited and happy because this inheritance is finally coming through. And sometimes this can also represent inheritances from God himself on the spiritual realm, for you to raise your vibration to become an even more powerful manifester. This is representing you being on God's plan in God's time, and the energy coming together for you because of that. And having the courage and the strength and the integrity to look into whatever happened in your childhood, and heal from it, and look into it and find out what did happen to my generational wealth. Where did it go? And so this is talking about this young woman is reaching deep into this lion's mouth, and very much like the energy here on the throne, this lion is representing fear of it's representing her deep held fears from childhood. And this is 100% infinite potential to the power of infinity and beyond. She's determined to reach that manifestation ability. And because of that, she's willing to face what she has to and do the inner work that she needs to do to improve her performance, be the best version that she can be. That's basically your purpose in life for all of us, not having to juggle anymore, being in a position where everything's flowing with more ease, to be able to manifest God's plan for her. And so from the bottom going up to the top and back down again, we have like this cycle ending and changing. I feel this is what's ending, and this is the change. It's quite a significant change. And that's because God is involved. And the ancestors are thrilled because they've been, this can sometimes represent skeletons coming out of the closet, or even on a larger scale in the world, like Pandora's box being opened. And so this is talking about really looking into something, looking into yourself, studying your performance. What can I do better to be a better version of myself? And the Wheel of Fortune is turning because of that. This is about having an open mind to being able to do things like the King of Wands, do things in a more visionary manner, instead of trying to make the same old way that you were doing things work. And this is also talking about, it can be like a reunion within yourself, or maybe there is someone coming in that empowers you to have victory here. And but this is definitely talking about learning to discipline your mind and rein your emotions in. Look at things from all angles before taking action, so that you're, and this is like after having a difficult time, this rainbow, this promise of this beautiful, all this love that you want in your life, of that coming through. So this is a really good reading. It's talking about, how to manifest at a high level like Earth Star. And if you're leaving the reading here, thank you for your time and energy, and likes, comments, subscribes. I really, really appreciate them all. It's really empowering me to build my channel. I'm going to clarify for those that want further clarification. All right, and we have the numbers on these cards represent the paintings as they're listed on the gallery in my website, talesfromthevector.com. I will have the information in the description box below, so you can take a look. I will put them in the order they appear here, so you know which of the paintings to take a look at. They say, painting can paint 1,000 words, so it might give you further clarity if you're doing your best. You might be through this, or you might just beginning, or you might still be here and you're looking for answers. How can I move forward to have this strength? We have deception here, so there clearly has been some juggling of morals, and it could be in your with your significant other, your partner. That could represent this energy. They might be wanting to come back to you now because now you're doing well, and it's like, the grass isn't greener after all. I'm going to come, I want to come back. So this is, they can see that you're having an energetic upgrade, and now they want to come back into your life. This would be someone that you've already had a relationship with, and it's been disappointing, and perhaps they went off with a third-party energy, and now they're saying, hey, let's get back together. This is saying, are you going to be a people pleaser, or are you going to move forward in the new energy? We do have attachment, and this is a karmic space that we can fall into. This deception is one of the tactics that can be used. And what bothers me about seeing this on this is it's just saying that I feel you leaving someone, walking away from the relationship and saying no, is what gets you out of this energy here, because there was deception in your inner circle. So this could be, friends and family and peers and whatever this is, but it's talking about an energy of not being left out in the cold anymore. Remember, God, rejection can be God's protection. And so this is about other people being attached to your outcome. And it's talking about what's your, this is a karmic space. It's the mother of all of them, because when we become attached to something or someone, we can end up, hanging on really tight and fall into a whole bunch of other karmic spaces. But attachment, and the saying on this one is, what's yours is mine, and what's mine is mine. Well, that doesn't sound very fair, but it's saying that they want what's yours, and now they can see that you're getting close to getting it. And you're a superstar all of a sudden, and they can see you in a new light, and they want to, let's see if we can make this work, blah, blah, blah. But you're off on a new adventure by this point. You've done a lot of work, and you realize that you can't really trust this person like you used to, they've already shown you that they can't trust you. And as soon as things go a little bit sideways, or they think they are, then are they going to be back in that energy? Really, when it comes to your significant other, if you're always wondering, what are they up to now? That's a sign. So this is about having harmony in your life and being able to speak your truth and be authentically yourself, and that being appreciated rather than it being like a problem. We have the Lovers. So this is talking about on this energy here. So someone from the past wanting to come back in, maybe. This would represent someone that you've already had a relationship with. It doesn't really represent, you could know a lot of people from the past that maybe you were flirting with or attracted to or whatever, but you didn't have, you didn't marry them or have a significant relationship with them. So it could represent also that someone from your past that you knew back whenever but you didn't have a relationship with, where they've already disappointed you, that this energy could be coming in as a lover now. And that could be the new energy that you're looking for. So it can be, both ways. The disruption, what's fun for some is not fun for everyone. Yeah, if... there's a third party involvement, I'm sure they're having more fun than you are, So it's talking about that energy. And if other people are, leaving you in this position and they're enjoying, they're off doing whatever, and you're here, and they've disrupted what was yours, that's a tactic that causes people to end up in this energy. High Priestess is sitting right on this energy. Use your intuition if you want to have a joyful life. It'll raise your vibration, and you'll be able to attract, manifest what you want in a much easier way, in a more joyful way. God's judgment has been called on this dissemination of information. Dissemination of information is when it's scrambled information and people talk to you in a way that you can't really understand. But sometimes this can be really innocent. It's kind of like every occupation has its own language quite often. But this is talking like when there's an elephant in the room and everybody can see there's an elephant in the room, and you go to them and you say, there's an elephant in the room and I want to address it because there's something going on here. And they're all together saying, oh no, there's nothing going on. Why are you so suspicious? Why are you, that type of energy. So dissemination of information so that you can't put things together clearly. And this is saying believe in your own press, if you believe in your own press. So, that can be when someone is thinking they have way more than, potential than they actually do at the time. But it also can be talking about You know, a lot of times when people want to motivate other people, they'll say, oh, you have to believe in yourself. But sometimes, a lot of the time actually, most people do have limiting beliefs about what they're capable of doing. And quite often the ego will say to us, you know, oh, you're just one person. What can you do? Who do you think you are? You're not special. Who, you know, all these other people have gone before you and they haven't been able to do it, and you're saying you can. You know, and so you start believing in that. Well, you know, it's not going to be beneficial for you. You're better off just having faith in God's plan and moving forward in that energy. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune at the top here, doubled up. Whenever there's like double energy like that, it's talking about definitely this is a new cycle that's changing. And it may take a while before you really start to notice it, because it's small changes that are you're making that are getting that Wheel of Fortune there, getting the gears moving again, you know, oil it up a little there. So, but this is talking about having a new, you know, having not just the physical, you know, the pentacle energy, but also having the love in your life that you want. And really, this can talk about love for yourself as well, like being willing to do the work on yourself to be a better version of yourself than you were before and get to this high-powered manifestation energy. I really enjoyed this reading. It's a good reading. I hope you've also enjoyed it. Thank you for your likes, comments, subscribes. I really do appreciate them. They're really helping me build my channel. And I will be back with another daily reading for you again tomorrow. Bye for now.